Hey, it's Joe Glines from the Automator. Another episode of what we automated this week with AutoHotkey. Sorry I missed last week. I was sick, and my son graduated from high school, and my dad was in town. And yeah, just a busy weekend. So let me go ahead and use Prompt Assistant to kick off. Now, actually, we're going to kick off this recently modified. Again, this is a list of, I don't know, a half dozen scripts. But I learned something. The last one I recorded of this was because I changed DPI, my notifications were appearing off screen because the get active path wasn't aware of the notification change. So hopefully now you'll see there's my notification. But I do that. I change the DPI first, and then let me move this guy a little bit up. I'm gonna have to go back and adjust that setting. So that's already done for me. There we go. That's just my webcam reminder. And here's the recent modified files. Looks like it found so far 55 files. So this script also, we actually recorded a part in the hero call and did a little extract because it was a very, very interesting gotcha we found in this script. So we fixed that. Here we have a lot of client work, 121 files found. And again, I can't jump into the client work. We're doing a lot of stuff for radiologists. That's what, no, biofeedback. We're automating stuff for them. Yeah, their client stuff. A lot of very interesting learnings from there. I'll have to write up a summary sometime so we can talk about the stuff we're doing for them. And for Jeff. Thomas. Okay, here we go. And now we're up to AJ. I can click on this one. This was just a fake thing. He uses quick text paster. And he finally wanted to switch to AutoHotkey, so he asked if I could, because I told him everything it's doing. It's probably even written in AutoHotkey, but I said we could do that with AutoHotkey instead. So he said, okay, let's go ahead and do that. So I was looking through what he had done, and I realized Prompt Assistant was actually a better fit. We made a little adjustment to Prompt Assistant so he could keep consistent with his code, which I can, if I remember, I'll demo in here. Actually, let me just show you. So in Prompt Assistant now, if I go into Customize, and let's say I want to assign a hotkey to this menu. I can hit Edit. Now you can use the Windows hotkey in combination with Control whatever hotkey, right? So this would be Windows Control T. Before we didn't have the Windows here, and AJ used the Windows key to launch a lot of his menus, and so I said that's worth updating our tool because we should have had that in there anyway. So we added that to Prompt Assistant. And now he has everything. I haven't given it to him yet. I've shown him a short video. But I had one of our guys import all the stuff from Quick Text Paster. And it was, like I said, I'm almost sure it's written in AutoHotkey. But we imported it all into Prompt Assistant. Now, what was interesting in Quick Text Paster, they were all independent menus. Here, if I pull up Prompt Assistant, let me do it over here so you can... So these have menus and submenus, right? They were all independent menus, and you'd have to remember the hotkey. Notice, let's see here, do I have like here, Control-Shift-X? This is a reminder that, hey, if I wanted to hit Control-Shift-X, I can jump to that submenu, right? This is my Excel library because I use it a lot. And he didn't have, in the tool he was using, these are not menus and submenus, and there's no reminder for what the hotkey is. So I like our tool. I think he'll really enjoy our tool much more as well. And of course, also we now allow you to run. Let me see if I can find one here. What did I do? Let's see. We'll open the recently modified. Oh, do I alt click on that to open it? No. Customize. HK tools. Recently modified files. Here, you can see this is where we run AutoHotkey code, and we send the pound numpad 1. That's a hotkey that actually triggers the DPI adjustment for me. We open the recently modified script. We run the webcam reminder. We run the URL memory thing. That watches my clipboard for URLs that are on the Automator, so then I can have them available in the video, so I don't have to keep track of that. I commented out these two because obviously, I have to have OBS running to record that part of it for you, so I thought that's just dumb. I would never use that. I toggle the Do Not Disturb, and then I relaunch Get Active Path. This was one of those, and we haven't worked through how we're going to do it yet, but tools like Get Active Path, things that have a GUI, need to understand the size of your screen and the DPI. And what was happening, I thought in one of the previous videos, I'm like, oh, Get Active Path isn't working. No, it was working fine. The notification that it was telling me that I got it was off screen because when I had launched Get Active Path, the screen size was a certain size in DPI, but I changed it, and Get Active Path was not aware of that. So for now, I'm just relaunching it after. So I changed the resolution, and then I relaunched this so it knows what the current resolution is. Of course, I'll need to, again, when I reset the DPI, go change it again. Otherwise, it would show up in a weird spot. This is why we need to have a better approach overall. And I don't think I want to always check the DPI when we use Get Active Path. Like, should we always in our Notify class look at the DPI? We probably should get it once and then maybe do a quick check to confirm it's still that. I don't know. That's what I need to talk to Zayas about the best plan for handling that. Feel free to comment here if you guys have any ideas of what you'd want to do. I don't want our tools that require a GUI to slow down at the same time. It does. What we could do is when we launch the DPI adjuster, we could be aware of certain scripts, and if they're running, either relaunch them or let them notify them that, hey, you need to adjust for the DPI, right? That's the smarter approach. That way we don't slow down our running scripts, and yet they get updated. Anyway, all right, so here we go back to here, change program. So this was an interesting thing. Let me see if I can, well, I'm not in Zoom, otherwise I'd show you. In Zoom, I have two Zoom windows in my taskbar, and they both say Zoom. One says like Zoom meeting, and one says Zoom work something. And they both have the same exact icon, and it really annoyed me. So I was using both Claude and Grok. I think Claude was actually the one that solved it, to swap out on a given program in your taskbar. Now mine, because mine is on my side here, I'll pull this over, which is going to mess with that top thing, but that's fine. Actually, I wonder if I'll make it a little bigger there. So, yeah, that's funny. I'm going to need to make that where it doesn't get moved around. Anyway, so these are the icons I'm talking about. Now, Isaiah says he never sees it because he leaves his, if you have like multiple, if I launch Explorer more than one time, you'll see I have separate instances of it. He does not. He keeps them collapsed, and that drives me nuts. But you can see here, these have the same icons. And so what I would really like to do, oh, that has the same icon. Let me go to, I think a different drive has, yeah, like my cloud. So the two different icons really helps me spot that they are different. And I don't have to read, which, you know, it's really helpful. So the question was, how do I change the icon of a running program that's not something I created? And I did solve it, but what I realized, because most people have their taskbars on the bottom and they have them collapsed, like Isaiah said, it doesn't help anybody other than me. So if you guys are interested in this, let me know. I'll share the script, but I think for the most part, I'm not so sure how helpful. Oh, hey, that was interesting. I use Explorer Patch to move my taskbar to the side because it's such a waste of space to me on the bottom. Getting clicks, we will revisit this one in a minute because this is my version on my own play area where I started developing it, and then once I got it to where it was decent, I moved it over under Automate My Task as another approach. So we'll jump to it when we hit it there. This AI transcribe and summarize. During the hero call, we were demonstrating that. One of the users wanted to do some stuff, so we were demoing it and realized a couple minor tweaks to it, so we made some very minimal tweaks to that tool. It's still one of my favorite and best tools. Like, it's absolutely wonderful. Go check out the video on that if you're interested. It's a great tool, really helpful. But there's a lot of, I think that just got moved around. We did update the prompts a little bit. Here we go. So here's the getting clicks. This just ran. Now I double-clicked and ran it. Now it's telling me until I click this, the script tracks the mouse position, records left clicks. Windows S will toggle tracking, escape to exit, and your HK code will be on the clipboard. What I usually do is just pull up a calculator. I don't know why that took so long. Now I don't actually, well, Windows S I do need to do to start it tracking. I don't have to get rid of this, so I can leave this up, but normally you just click it and it goes away like that, right? So Windows S, I'm starting to track. Now you can see my coordinates. I'm going to hit 7, 8, 9, and this is just showing me what was put in there, plus 100. We'll wait for that to go away, and then I'll hit the equals. Now that is all on there. I'm going to hit escape to just stop it, to exit out of that. Now that's on my clipboard. Now I will, again, use Prompt Assistant to launch the toolkit that will allow me to run the code without even saving it, right? So I'm going to paste that here. Notice it has the require, signals as force, and I changed it to mouse, coordinates, and screen. When I run this, so you can see it just moved my mouse. Let me clear this to help you make sure. I'll run it again. So it goes and does those things, right? So it's sort of a macro recorder, but for very, very dumb things, right? So I wouldn't want to do this on most things because coordinates break a lot. I specifically chose mouse and screen, so it's looking at the screen, and this way, no matter what monitor I go to, it takes that into account. If I had chose the like client position for the location or the window, it would look for that window, but I wanted something really dumb because what if I had 2 instances of this tape calculator and then it would get confused, right? So again, it's not the ideal way at all. However, sometimes you want something just dumb and quick, right? So I could easily put this in a loop if I cared to and be able to do it 10 times, you know? So of course, clicking these calculator things, I wouldn't do that. But when you have repetitive tasks you need to click really quickly and things aren't moving on you, hey, it works, right? So that was what that one was. Boy, did that one change? This is one of our great little scripts that when you remote into a computer, you can hit a hotkey and see the list of running windows and bring them wherever the mouse is, which is really helpful. This media merger tool, this one, we haven't released it yet, but it's pretty cool. You can drag in either videos or audio files. Once you drag them in, you can move them up and down and then hit merge, and it will create that in the same extension for you. A very cool little tool. Quick desktop record. I need to make a video on this. We made this for a client. It uses FFmpeg to record your desktop very easily. It's a cool little tool. Isaiah was finishing up some stuff for AJ, that same client up above, on the second keypad trigger. So you can plug in a secondary keyboard and you can program macros or hotkeys or whatever you want to that secondary keyboard. So it uses a 10-key numpad usually. And what we want to do is allow you to still have your 10 key on your keyboard and have a 10 key separate, and the two things don't automate the same stuff, if that makes sense, right? So you can distinguish between your 10 key number 1 on your keyboard versus the 10 key number 1 on the secondary keyboard. So check out that video. We've just been making some tweaks to it to get that done right. We made a minor tweak to our FFmpeg library, which we'll at some point make available. WebView 2, just a couple of examples. And again, like I said, we were making some updates to Prompt Assistant. So the recently modified files, what was interesting was we were looping over files in folders, which is fine, but when we were returning both, a list of files and folders, and all we wanted were files. And it took a weird named script to really make it so complicated, but Geek Dude has a library called something like json.ahk. That's the name of the folder, and it's what was confusing us, but we finally figured that one out. AJ actually he does the stuff and he uses a teleprompter, and he told me he was using OBS to flip and invert, because teleprompters you have to invert the text on the screen, and I'm like, we actually have a script that does that. So I sent him that key test. I don't know what. I think this is more about that key trigger testing thing that he's doing. Yeah, that Isaiah's been doing. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Please like the video if you learned something here. As I said, we mentioned in the Hero Calls a lot of this stuff. So if you are interested in that Hero Core Club, it's a wonderful deal. I think the first month is $1.99. So, give it a try. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Cheers.